Are you ready? I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Maiden.
Vin got a haircut. It's
What?
very nice, doesn't he?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi was there, and it's a good time.
She was convincing you didn't need a mask.
We were both set up. We were both set up. Shout out to the big homie Nancy Pelosi for timely topical political commentary.
Oh my!
You can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori if you want one of these wonderful shirts, ladies and gentlemen. The Sori Secret Shirt is what we call it. There's a link there at teespring.com. You can check it out. And if you want a song review, dear listener, there's multiple ways you can do that. My favorite one is an alliance. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon where you'll be able to do that. You pull your points together, you make that happen. Or if you're a filthy capitalist like Sori and you want to jump straight to the head of the line, like somebody who emailed me a couple days ago, the way you do that, $125 at the gate gets you straight to the head of the line. You do that 3 times, you get down $75. Now, this is Iron Maiden. Haven't heard a Maiden song in quite some time. I've been itching for it. I'm like, sorry, we gotta do some Maiden. So, Blood Brothers is the name of the song. Iron Maiden is the name of the band, and I am expecting some fun. Oh, this is a live show.
It is a live one. Look at all those people.
Look at all those people. I miss going to shows so bad, bro.
I have to tell you guys something weird. So I wear earplugs because the neighbors are very loud. Everything is very noisy, and it wakes me up. Well, my earplugs actually got dropped into a puddle of melted ice cream.
Who did that? Orion?
No, that was I think I had something to do with it, but I don't remember exactly what happened. But anyway, so I used one of those earplugs that was in that last night, and I didn't realize I did. So all day my ear's been like feeling itchy, and every time I scratch it, chocolate comes out. It's disgusting. Very disgusting.
That's disgusting.
So, on that note, let's join the live show. Put your headphones on, babe.
And
let's go.
You got the lyrics?
We're gonna do a song now. We want to dedicate it to everybody here tonight, all right? Everybody that has supported Iron Maiden, everybody that has supported metal in South America, everywhere in the world. Song of the new album. This is for you. Blood Brothers, thank you.
Live in Rio.
pretending about it so easy when we're living our lives on the edge. See a prayer on the book of the dead.
One of the greatest bands of all time.
That song was very relaxing to me.
Yeah, it was a deep song. Friendship is something that's really, really fascinating to me. It's extremely fascinating to me, like to this day. I don't know if it's maybe because I moved around so much. Aside from Reef, you were the closest friend I've ever had in my life. I mean, you still are, but obviously dynamics are a bit different.
Well, according to that comedian, we can't be friends.
But like okay, so like I'm tracking what's happening in Chicago. These dudes are like killing each other every other day, and
Yeah.
you know it's horrific stuff. But there's one side of it that is extremely beautiful to me about that entire situation, and it's the fact that these dudes are not related, but they love each other. Like they're willing to die for each other, they're willing to kill for each other, they're willing to go to prison, like just because somebody made fun of their dead friend. And it's like, I can understand the family aspect because I moved around and all we had was each other, my brothers, you know what I mean? Like we'd be in homeless shelters and like all we had was each other. We were always the new kids at school, always the new kids in the neighborhood. And so like even if you created real friendships, that could disappear in a minute. And so like it was always like, yeah, you have friends, but like this, you know, it's your family, like these are your, you know. And it wasn't until I hit the Bronx where, you know, like where like you have physical altercations with people and you don't know what's going to happen, and you know people have weapons or whatever, and like for people to stay by your side or for you to jump in the middle of that is like okay, now it's something different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there are very few people who are gonna stand beside you in that type of situation other than family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if people do, then and that's why it's like if people flip on you, like I feel like that's a lot to ask out of somebody. Like for somebody to stay with you and get your back in the middle of when the whole world is against you is a very big ask. So
yeah.
So
I mean,
like to me, it's like if people do that in that situation, like I don't have anything against them for that. I mean, that's just standard. That's just human self-preservation. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Like self-preservation is like the ultimate human value. So the Bronx was like the first time it was like, yo, these dudes are staying with you like in the middle of, and they don't know what's gonna happen to them, and you don't know what's gonna happen to you, and like dudes are real. It's like the first time I was like, whoa. Like outside of my immediate family, and of course, my older brother, I got into it with these guys, and like we had no numbers, we had no people. I'm 99.99% certain my older brother, had no weapons on him at all, and like we got jumped by these kids, and then I was so angry that we got jumped by these kids that I stayed at the bridge and I waited for them. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill these niggas, blah, blah, blah. And like, my older brother was trying to talk me out of it. Now my older brother he had went through that school for 4 years, not a single occurrence, not a single problem. I lasted 1 semester. We got an altercation, and my brother was like, he was smart. Like, he was smart about it. He was scared to death. I mean, now I realize he was afraid.
Well, yeah.
But I was completely blinded by, and I don't think I really, because I was still in the 9th grade, I didn't really understand where I was. Like, I was like, oh, they got the drop on us because, we got jumped and I got separated from somebody, so it was like I had 1 on 5 and the other guy had like 1 on 3. I'm like, if we stay together, we're gonna be able to, and like if it was just fighting,
right.
I'm convinced to this day, like we would have been alright. But like,
you can't.
I didn't understand. Like, dude's got guns. I know. Well, I became friends with one of those guys like 2 or 3 years later. Like, dudes had guns. They had,
Oh my gosh.
And
How old were you?
I was 9th grade, so I don't know, Dorian's age probably. But I was, I felt good about like, being able to rumble. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to fight. And I had a little whatever on me, but it was nothing to compare to what you would have on you 2 or 3 years later once you realize where you were. So,
Jesus.
So my brother, like he saw me and he knew that I wasn't gonna.
This is in that song, right?
Because he, no.
Jansport?
No. That was a completely different situation. My brother was in that situation.
Okay.
But that's another one of those records that I'm probably never gonna release. But like, so we're at the bridge and I'm waiting for these guys. I'm like, yeah, I'll get these niggas, blah blah blah, and. My brother pulls out this thing of Vaseline, because when you're boxing they put Vaseline on you so the gloves will slide off your face and all that. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then so it was my brother, it was me, and then my best friend Reef was there, and we had been talking about, we're gonna get these guys at the bridge, blah blah blah, and all our friends were like, yeah man, yeah, definitely. So when it was actually time to go play ball, it was just the 3 of us. So it was like me and my brother. And then, my best friend. And it was a crazy moment. And God's grace, like, none of those dudes showed up. It was so weird. And I wasn't, like, we didn't put the word out or anything like that. I was going to ambush them and just, whatever. And, like, it would have been a complete disaster for us. But I was, like, so, like, my mind was so crazy. Like, my mind was, like, gone. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't thinking rationally. I mean, now I look back at it, I'm like, oh, my God. Like, God literally saved our lives in that situation. Yeah. But now I'm like, all right, and my brother knew, like, I got to a certain point of irrationality. Like, I'm now sort of a logical, break this down. Even in like conflicts and things like that, I could be logical, but I wasn't like that all the time. Like, I would get to the point where I was so emotional that like I was not able to be reasoned with. Yeah, and I didn't talk shit. Like, my brother knew, like, we were playing football one time and these kids were messing with me. They were talking shit, blah, blah. I was really frustrated. And I said, man, the next time you say some shit, I'll fuck you up. And the kid said something. I went right after him. Like, I didn't talk shit. Like, so my brother knew, like, there's nothing that he could do. So he was like, well, might as well go with him then.
Lather him up with Vaseline.
Yeah. So that happened, and like 10 minutes went by. My brother's like, all right, them niggas pussy, they're not coming, let's just go. And I was like, nah. And then like 20 minutes went by, and it was the craziest thing. Like, it was a Friday. That thing was usually hopping. There were usually mad people there.
Wow.
Like that one, it didn't happen. And I was like, alright, niggas scared that alright, we come to understanding, blah, blah, blah.
We've come to an understanding.
so, cause Reef was kind of like between me and him, you know what I mean? Like, Reef was my best friend, and then you got my brother, and like, so my older brother was like, let's get out of here, and Reef was just like, yeah, whatever, like, he's like, yeah, I guess he don't want to show up, blah, 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 and so we made it out with our lives, and that, alhamdulillah, but like that was like a crazy moment to me on like this song, because it was like, and I've been in other situations and organizations where like dudes are in dangerous situations, but it's different when you're in an organization where it's not the same thing, like it's like the same dynamic like the Band of Brothers feel, but it's not like that, because you really don't believe that you're gonna come out on the bad end of those situations. Like you believe that you're the greatest, blah blah blah, and part of the greatest blah the world has ever seen, yada yada yada, and you're the smartest, and you're the 1%, and people don't even know what you do, and all this nonsense. So that now I look back, I'm like, oh, that was just it's all psychological bullshit to make you whatever, but it worked.
I was gonna say it worked.
And people generally didn't die, so it worked. But like, yeah, that moment was like a crazy moment, because it was like, it was unique because nobody knew it. And we would have conflicts later, but it was just different because now we were like wise to what was happening. And when you like, this guy's got a weapon, you got a weapon. So, but that moment was very, very special to me, because my older brother, like I now realize that he was about to put himself in a very dangerous situation that he didn't have to be in, but because I was his brother, he wasn't gonna let me do that by myself. And then, my best friend, like he was like, and that's why I say like when situations up here, things happen and people flip on you, it's like you can't. Look at the ratio. I mean, me, I'm like, hey, everybody wants to be around Vin, blah, blah, blah. But when it was time to like go to war with these dudes, like there was two of us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, that's the ratio. Like anytime you're in a situation like that, you're gonna, especially a person like me, you're gonna have mad people around you. Yeah. And then when it's time to like go to war like this, you're gonna have anybody around. You can't be mad at that, because it's self-preservation. Like, why are they obligated to stand beside me when I'm in a completely irrational state of mind and we're about to get in some serious trouble? Like at the time, I was like, man, fuck them, man, niggas soft, blah blah blah. But at the time, like I didn't understand. But now I'm like, well, what? I mean, who wants to do that? You know what I mean? Like, who wants to be in that type of situation? You know what I mean? So like, I got love for all those people. Like I forgave. Like they didn't even do anything to me. Like I was just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like. But
that's so crazy that the place was usually packed and there was nobody.
It was a ghost town. It was completely inexplicable.
That is weird.
And my walk with God was not on point at that time at all. But that that was God. He protects children and fools or something like that. As the statement goes. I was dumb as hell. But like that concept that my friend who's not related to me at all, like the fact that he would like stand beside me in that situation, like. It was just and obviously the way he looked at it was like, because the reason we had beef with those dudes in the first place was because they went after him. They were fine with me. They went after him. And I remember like 8 or 9 of them were like surrounding him, and I remember taking off my book bag and giving it to Takara and saying, hey, bring this to school on Monday, because I knew it wasn't going to go well. And so we jumped in there. We had a, it was what it was. And then he was like, oh my God, you did that for me, blah, blah, blah. I just, like we're friends forever now, blah, blah, blah. And, so those were the same dudes that we had beef with. So the entire reason that I was angry at them for jumping us was because of that situation. So he was like, there was no way I was not going to be there with you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, there's a lot of people that say that, but like when the actual like chips are down and like dudes are really like there's danger, like you don't know, and dudes were getting shot, they were getting cut, they were getting, like we had no idea. So, that's what the song made me think about. Like you have,
Yeah, I can see that.
it's that type of friendship, that degree of friendship is just very, very fascinating with me. Like, okay, like you're willing to die for and kill and go to jail for people who are not your family. Like you love them. And it's crazy because these dudes, these kids in Chicago, they will tell you like, yo, I love that nigga, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
I know.
Like, how would you feel if somebody did that to somebody you love? You know, with that little accent. And I'm like, yo, and it's weird because black men are usually not socialized to profess their love for other men. Like, you're allowed to say you love your mom, you know, because of Tupac.
I was gonna say, and women too.
Yeah.
They can say it about their mom, but
You can say it about your mom.
About your girl.
Not about your girl. They still don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But like to hear these dudes like talk about they love this dude and they cried when he got shot and like dudes knew like okay when that happens like and I you know like it's just very fascinating to me and it's always been fascinating to me like people are willing to. So now you got these dudes. So it's horrible. These guys are killing each other. It's terrible. But like the love that these kids have for one another is insane. It's unbelievable to me. Like they genuinely do not care. Like even if you're not the one that killed their friend.
I don't understand. I wouldn't.
Even if you're
in jail for somebody.
Yeah, even if you're not the one who killed their friend, if you made a song about killing their friend, they're gonna kill you. The dudes are gonna kill you. Like they love them that much, and it's like, yo, I don't even know what I'd have done in that situation, bro. I don't even know because we didn't do that. Like if we had a conflict or whatever, somebody got cut, somebody whatever, like nobody, you would hear about it. Yo, I heard your man got cut, and you good, blah blah blah. But like the dudes who wouldn't run around and laugh about it. They wouldn't, you know, like you'd see them, they'd see you, you give them the screw face, blah blah blah. But they were not gonna like. These dudes are like making songs about it and laugh and mocking each other and making memes and all. Like, I don't know how it would have drove me crazy. Like, there's no way me and my friend would have survived Chicago. Because I didn't have the mental strength to be able to ignore that and keep moving on.
Yeah, at that point in your life, yeah.
I was too weak.
Yeah.
I was way too weak mentally to be able to just, you know, especially if it was, you know, my best friend, like, and you were leaving the house.
Yeah, but there was a lot of situations that surrounded you, you know what I mean, that were like terrifying. Like, you know, the time where you say that you got on the subway and then just like somebody randomly just gets cut.
Yeah.
And it was like totally unexpected and stuff. So I think that like emotionally what you're having to deal with in the city and being around that type of environment, it kind of sets you up. Like there's like a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty and stuff like that. So it's like to mature in the area of strength in that, I mean,
yeah.
How could you? You know what I mean? Like you're just going off of what seems natural at the time. It's your instincts just kind of kicking in because the environment was so hostile.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, he's talking about his father, you know, second glimpse of my father I see in a movement, he beckons me in a moment, the memories and all that remain. So it looks like his dad died. Somebody's dad died, and, you know. And I think being in a band, you know what I mean? Like, the whole Blood Brothers thing is like
oh, for sure.
Especially a band with like the longevity of Maiden. Like you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna go through the ups and downs and the conflicts and all this and all that, and there's gonna be times where you're gonna have to, you know, just because you're not in the ghetto and you're not at, you know, or in some ridiculous organization, you know what I'm saying? Like you still have that. You got to have that bond of love for the music, the common good, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like to be able to stay in a band together like that, because that shit is hard to do.
And when you hear the different band members talk, like we haven't interviewed them, but you know, different bands have talked to us, and you can see that they all have like there's like cycles where stuff gets really volatile and it's extremely frustrating, you know, and then they have their really deep times, and it's like that in every significant relationship that you have.
I'll tell you what. Our band, that would make for some ridiculously amazing reality TV. To me, you, Jay, Sarcast, Yan, I mean, that would be an insane, because we would all, you know, like, we'd all love each other. Like me and Pete, you know, we love each other to death, but there'd be problems. You know what I'm saying? Like there would be issues. You know, it'd be crazy. in some parallel universe, I'm sure we're in a tour bus somewhere, like, you know, mad at each other and shit. But I swear to God, bro. Hey, Sarcasm, if this was 10 years ago, I would literally be like, yo, you need to come to America. You need to pick up your family. You too, Yan. You need to pick up your family and move. We'd probably go to where Jay's in Arizona, because it's by California and all that jazz. It's a good strategy. But
famous.
Yeah, but it would be a very, very good reality show, because
there would be some other Vin and Sori. Like,
nah.
It'd be like some other people. We'd be like,
we
need you to review our song.
It'd still be. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't be able to have a reaction channel if we were doing that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, it's a very, very good song, and it brought up a lot of like cool memories and just the thought process of having. Like, I actually in the comments, like, if you tell me your blood brother type moments in your life, I actually want to read. I'm very, very interested to read it.
Don't worry if they're long comments. Vin's fine with that.
It's probably gonna, like, if it's long, I'm gonna look at it more than if it was just, you know, whatever. Because I love those stories. Because that's something I'm very fascinated by, because I still feel like I'm on the outside looking into those types of relationships. Because they're so few and far between. What do you give the song?
9.4.
9.8 for me. Love me some Iron Maiden. Good solos. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Love your neighbor.